Back here on CBS Sports HQ, Jack Tuttle in a QB trying to get his team closer, but no. The Huskies intercepted, and that would just about do it. Washington takes down number 10, Michigan, and their 33-game winning streak against AP unranked opponents has ended. Cameron Fabiculina with that. And now the Huskies have 5 straight home wins versus AP-ranked opponents. And I'm joined by CBS Sports college football writer Richard Johnson and 2-time Super Bowl champ Brian McFadden. And gentlemen, the QB situation has gotten worse for Michigan. Okay, Jack Tuttle with a fumble and a late interception that sealed it. How damaging is this for Michigan when you look at the way they could have won this game, even the way that Alex Orji played so much that he got benched?
Well, Chris, the plot thickens because they say if you got 2 quarterbacks, you ain't got 1 quarterback. I don't know what they say when you got 3 quarterbacks. Because Alex Orji starts this game. They go down 14-zip. They put in Tuttle, who's QB3 effectively on the depth chart. And then they at least battle back into the game. Tuttle gives you a dimension where you can throw the ball. Look, I think Alex Orji is a tremendous athlete, but he does not give you an aerial dimension to the offense. So they went to Tuttle, okay, and they battled in this game. But, they were not able to out-physical Washington. This is not the national championship, rematch that we thought we were going to get, BMAC, and disappointing for Michigan in the end.
Pre-game, we talked about the concerns for Michigan at the quarterback position. They've been a concern for them the entire season, guys, but the luxury Michigan had at their disposal, all of those concerns happen in their backyard. They're in the big house. When you play at home, some of those concerns might not be, it might not make as much noise as they could make on the road. This was their first game on the road. The 6th game of the season was their first opportunity to be involved in a road atmosphere, and those same quarterback concerns surfaced again, but they were a bigger issue because you were playing with your back against the wall. They could not get out of their own way, and that has been their Achilles heel the entire season, but they've been fortunate enough to find a way to win a ball game. To your point, defensively, that has always been the calling card for them. Even with inefficient quarterback play, the defense can bow their back, get the significant stops. What I saw from a defense today, they were either physically fatigued or mentally fatigued. The morale was not there, and they lost the battle in the trenches, and the stops they needed to make, the stops that we've seen their defense make week in and week out, were not there. So they got to find a way to figure out this quarterback conundrum, because if they do not, they might have a few more L's coming down the pipe of their schedule.
BMAC, it's more than just the quarterback conundrum, I think, overall. It's where are the playmakers on Michigan's offense? That's the thing that we don't talk about. Blake Corum, your chain mover, right? Your 3 yards on a cloud of dust guy. He's not on this team anymore. I think Donovan Edwards is a tremendous home run hitter of a running back, but he doesn't grind out the hard yards. He doesn't really get the singles and doubles. He had a long touchdown run in this game. You see the upside, and you see the explosive ability, but it's more of the efficiency that he needs to be better as a running back. Khalil Mullins gives you some of that, and they've turned to him this season. But I think for the passing game, beyond what they are or aren't getting from the quarterback, the pass catchers themselves, outside of tight end Colson Loveland, they need help there, and they're not getting it. And when they get into a situation like this, where they're down 2 scores and all that kind of stuff, you wonder about their ability to come back. Now, they were able to make this a game, right? It's not like they got blown out here. But as they go the balance of the season, you're just going to have this game again and again and again and again. If you don't have a positive game script where you get out in the lead, I don't know about Michigan this season.
It's not looking good right now. The script has not gone according to plan for Sherrone Moore in year 1 as Michigan's head coach. Now, when it comes to Washington, this is a team that lost a lot of talent, QB, wide receiver position. We knew how dominant they were there, and they find a way to, they just threw the ball wherever they wanted to, BMAC, against the Wolverines defense.
Well, let's keep it real. Before today's matchup, if you haven't really been monitoring the quarterback situation in the Big Ten collectively, Will Rogers has been playing outstanding football. I think he was number 2 in completion percentage, roughly over 70% 94% of his passes were completed. He had 10 touchdowns to 0 interceptions. I think he threw an interception tonight, if I'm not mistaken. But in totality, he was playing lights out. But it just kind of have been going under the radar. On a national stage against a powerhouse, a top 10 team, he outplayed the opposing team quarterback. No surprise, but you felt like potentially this could be a difficult situation for Will Rogers playing against Michigan's defense, especially the guys in the second level. He had no issue for them. So when you talk about having a quarterback, that's the first part. When you talk about being physical, we saw that from Washington on both sides of the football, and they have runners that can lean on defenders. This was a great opportunity for Washington to kind of earn some respect in the Big Ten, because if you go back to summertime and all the analysts and all the opinions that were being thrown out about the Big Ten, many felt like Washington would be in the midst of a rebuild type year. Coach Fish, new staff, lost so many players to the NFL, to the transfer portal. No, they feel like they can compete, and they're showing us all of that right now so far in this season.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I just think you have a Washington offensive line that loses 2 pieces to the NFL, right? But Washington was still able to block it up enough to get 27 points. That's so, because Michigan's front is really good, right? Michigan's got a solid defensive front, and so for Washington to still be able to put up 27 in this game, I don't know. You'd think that if one thing about this Michigan team you can hang your hat on, it would be the defensive front, and they weren't able to affect this game, I thought, enough, and obviously to get the win or even to limit, admittedly, a Michigan offensive attack that they didn't know they were going to get. Like, they didn't know they were going to get Jack Tuttle when they strapped it up to start this game. So, you just really disappointed in a lot of different phases for Michigan.
And I'll say this, and you guys could either agree or disagree, and the same could be said for our viewers that are tuning in. In the Big Ten, Michigan might have the worst quarterback situation out of every school in the Big Ten. Now think about that. We're talking
there are a lot of teams in the Big Ten.
There are a lot of teams in the Big Ten. But if you look at the quarterbacks that represent the other schools in the Big Ten compared to what we've seen from Michigan in 6 weeks of play, they might be at the bottom of the barrel when it comes to quarterbacks. And that's not a good sign, because this is a team, reigning champs in college football, high expectations, playoff aspirations, hey, conference contention. That has been the expectations for Michigan. With all the losses, you are still expected to be in the thick of things when it comes to Big Ten competition. I don't see it happening. And how can they change this? Because J.J. McCarthy was there for quite some time. He's no longer coming back. You know, you got to find a way to develop quarterbacks, and that could be a reason why this season can kind of turn in the wrong direction based on the inability to get sound quarterback play.
Yeah, it's not looking good for the Michigan Wolverines.